Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. Are you ready
Ready for what?
to level up?
Okay, girl, let's get started. Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Level Up with Raman and Alysha. Welcome back to our Brown Girl Month.
We did that good. We did
yeah,
good
clearly we practiced.
there. Yeah, we struggled a little bit, but yeah, welcome to another episode. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about like the 101 reasons that brown aunties, mainly aunties, not the
Yeah.
uncles, tell us why we're not going to get married.
Yeah, so join us on our long rant about why we're not going to get married.
And why you still are going to get married and why it's all fake and false.
Yeah, we don't believe in it, guys, because there's like, I don't know, look at half the world who's married.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, first one. Ready? If you don't know how to make roti, no one's going to marry you.
I should have known that was going to be the first one.
That's like so freaking true, guys.
Yeah, if you don't know how to cook, if you don't know how to clean, then, no one's gonna marry you. And it's like, but bro, how do they know? I don't know how to cook yet. Like before
Yeah,
marriage.
it's part of the application process on my first date.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's honestly been a standard in my house. I've always heard it. It's like
I heard the roti.
yeah, the roti. I actually still hear it. They're still like, you should learn. And it was always like, well, who's going to make the roti? And it was always like, even if you get married, then it's like you're going to be a disgrace because you don't know how to make it. And it was always just one of those reasons that they felt like, for some whatever reason, it was a qualification for getting married and into an Indian family.
Well, I guess...
Can I be honest with you? It probably was.
It is.
Because when you think about people getting married in India, like, especially when it's like those arranged marriages, or it's like
when the goody comes in with her jaw on a tray to give jaw to her dish.
And it's like she has to have made the cha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has to give it to them. And do you know how much pressure that is to carry a tray full of jaw?
Yeah, it's like a test.
It's hard, bro.
The whole shit is a test. The cha tastes bad, the girl's not good.
I know. Yo, sometimes I sit there and I'm like, I don't like this auntie's jaw. Who married her? Yo, I honestly, I've been in situations where I don't like some auntie's jaw, like on the side of the family, and I'm just like, this is bakwash jaw.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it's really intimidating in India as well. Like I said, if you haven't seen the Brown movies, it's basically like pressure, and the opposing family, like the guy's family, is always asking, okay, well, does she know how to cook? Does she know how to clean? And it seems like that's always the main qualifications. It's not even like, oh, does she have a good job? Or, does she have any skills? Or does she have any hobbies?
Is she a nice person? Is she a fucking human being?
Yeah, it's more so like what kind of house activities she can do.
And you know what's funny, guys? Is that these three things, cleaning, cooking, what was the third one you said?
Cooking, cleaning, and like, I don't know. I feel like, being a respectful daughter-in-law.
Yeah, okay, fine. Those three things, if you didn't know them, you could learn them. They're very, like, learning adaptable skills that can be learned through YouTube, someone else, your mother-in-law, your sister-in-law, whoever. You can learn it. I didn't know how to cook when I got married.
Yeah. I still don't know how to cook.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, I'm not married.
Yeah, but you will know how. I think you will. Raman made me a beautiful cheese board for the first time today, guys. It was really good. So
brought to you by Fortino's.
But you put it on the plate. So I truly think it's things you can learn. Like, I hate cleaning. Doesn't mean I don't know how, but I hate it. Yeah. But I did learn I had to learn how to be a little more efficient in cleaning. But I was also kind of like, why is it on me? Why isn't it on him?
Yeah.
Like, hello, he has 2 pairs of socks. What about him? Where did the socks go? So one thing I do advocate in my relationship is, if I have to do it, so do you.
Yeah.
And I got to give it up to Amit.
Clap for Amit.
Amit does laundry. Amit cleans the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And honestly, because he knows, I ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
And we take turns doing laundry.
Yeah.
But the bathroom thing, I've never been fond of.
Yeah.
I don't do bathrooms.
I saw this commercial one time. It was like an Indian commercial. And it was about how, like, the guy's family and him come over, and I don't remember what this was a commercial for. I actually think it was a commercial for like chai or something. Like, it was, you know, one of those things Indian ones. Yeah, so it was an Indian commercial, and it was like for chai, but it was like how the guy's side comes over to see the girl, and she makes chai, and they're like, oh, very good chai, does she know how to cook, clean, blah 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 blah. And then he's like, yeah, she does, but and then they're like, oh, you know, she seems very like qualified for our son. And
qualified?
He's like, yeah. So, and then the father, and you know, this was like one of those modern twist kind of commercials. He was like, yeah, but now we have to see if your son is qualified for my daughter. He was like, does your son know how to cook and clean? And then the parents of the father like would just kind of look at each other. And then I think the commercial ended with like the daughter and her parents just drinking cha.
Like a rhetorical question.
Yeah. So it was just so interesting.
But it's so true.
Because it's like you have all these qualifications, and you know what, you just brought up something so important, is that even our podcast today, it's about when you and I talked about doing this podcast, we thought about women.
We didn't think about guys.
We didn't even think about men, because it's women that hear why you will not get married. I never hear 101 reasons of, you know, aunties telling a guy why he won't get married. Yeah. It's always like, oh, the girl, if you're like this, then, you know, no one's going to marry you, or you're not going to find a guy, or whatever.
All the mama boys out there, why the heck are we not telling him, pick up your own goddamn socks? Yeah. Get your own glass of Bonnie.
I know. That part's so annoying.
I hate that. Pick up your kapre, do your own laundry, fix your bed.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, there's so many things men don't do that they depend on their mother, and it's so pathetic.
Yeah. Or their wives. What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah. Other than a paycheck, buddy, that's not good enough in today's day and age.
Like, bitch, women get a paycheck too. Yeah. And, you know, some higher. So it's like.
Yeah. So step up your game.
Yeah. One of the things that I think like when I got my first tattoo, I think like my mom was like, oh, guys don't marry girls with tattoos. And I remember thinking, how old were you? How old was I? I got it in England. It was when I went to go visit Anissa in law school. I think I was like 22. Oh, maybe like 21, 22. Yeah. Or maybe 20. Okay, maybe 20 that's actually, still now that I'm thinking. And I remember her saying that like, oh, no one's going to want to marry you now because you have a tattoo. And I remember saying, where do you get your information?
Because I swear especially every brown guy out there, they have tattoos. They have Jack on their forearm, or in big letters they have Sani, or they have their last name on this forearm.
Guy that had Sani on his arm.
Me too.
Do we know the same guy?
What's his first name?
He went by Sunny, but his name was Barjinder.
Oh my god, that's so sad, because my guy is totally a different guy. That means there's two guys out there like that. So if there's two out there, there's probably like 20 more.
And I remember like just being like, where do you get your information from?
What
did
your mom say?
And she was just like, I know. And I was just laughing because I was just like, I don't think that's the case, fam.
Another one. If you cut your hair, no one will marry you.
Yeah. Like,
what is up with that?
I don't know. What is, like, okay. Like, I understand. Okay, like, my dad is one of those people that are obsessed with long hair. Okay. If any girl walks in with beautiful long hair, my dad will 100% notice it. He'll be like, she has such beautiful long hair.
That's different.
Yeah. No, but it's because like he doesn't like the short hair. Right? So he'll...
Why is that an Indian mentality thing?
He thinks it's just like I don't even fucking know. I can't even start to explain the logic of that. He just thinks like, you know, I remember at times like, you know, now I really love my long hair. Like, you know, it's because I'm trying to grow my hair like long, and it's been a mission. Yeah. But, you know, I went through phases where I cut my hair like up to my shoulders and stuff like that. And for many years I had hair up to my shoulders. And, you know, he just always thought like I look better with longer hair, even though my booty is the same. He always thought like, oh my god, like, you know, your hair is so long, you have to grow it. And you know what, like, okay, one thing I never understood is, you know how girls are always like, oh, they're growing their hair for their wedding, but like half of them put extensions in,
or that bun in the morning
and stuff. So I don't really like, I understand you can't have like really really short hair because then it's just hard for the hairdresser, but like I don't understand like growing it like super fucking long for your wedding and then they cut it right after the wedding.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I never understood
that either, but I swear I was one of those girls who said that. Yeah. Okay, another one.
Oh, one that obviously I still hear. until this day is, but jokes on them. You know, my obviously parents are, they don't believe that like, oh, girls drink, even though every girl drinks, you know? But to them, they're like, oh, girls don't drink. And to them, it was always like, oh, well, no one's gonna marry a girl that drinks, or like, you know, your in-laws are not gonna accept you. And I'm like, why would I drink in front of my in-laws?
Nobody does that,
right? Unless they're gonna drink with me.
Yeah, that's
because there are some chill people, right? Like I drink with your parents.
Yeah.
So there are chill people that, you know, you possibly can. But that was one thing I heard constantly. It was like, no one's gonna marry you if you drink, and you know, and I'm like, oh, but it's okay if the guy drinks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, how is he okay to drink and I'm not? It just made no sense.
I agree with that one too. Okay, ready for a controversial one?
Yeah.
Controversial one.
Controversial. Are you gonna say what I think you're gonna say?
Probably.
What?
Who's gonna marry you if you lose your virginity to someone else?
Oh yeah, it's like a disgrace in our community.
Not talked about so much.
Yeah.
But like if we look at Verdi Shadi.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, it kind of is just like, what? I think it also can change the conversation, because the thing is, what if someone was sexually assaulted?
Yeah.
And not by their choice? Then they're all growing with that fact to know that the unspoken is that like, nobody else will marry me because I've been touched by someone else.
Yeah.
Or what if a relationship went really badly? Like, there's so many different outlets that could happen. What if you got divorced?
Yeah. There's a big stigma around women who get divorced in our community too. And, you know, I feel like a lot of women hear that, okay, well, your first marriage needs to work out because if you get divorced, no one's going to marry you again.
Or if you're a widow.
If you're a widow,
you have to wear white for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's
what's
fucking
up
stupid.
with that?
I don't fucking know.
So she doesn't get a second fucking chance in life?
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Like, that I don't get either.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Because you've been married, nobody else will marry you.
Or if you
now.
like have children,
yeah,
and they, you know, there's a huge stigma around like, especially Indian women with children, and it's like, okay, well, no one's gonna, and you know, I've heard this before, and it's like, oh, well, you better make your marriage work because no one's gonna want to marry someone with a child, or like somebody, you know, that has children, and you're gonna find it harder for you and stuff like that. But it's like, who made up these rules that you're making people believe, you're making women believe that they're not going to have a chance, or they're going to have a harder time. And you know what? Maybe they are, but that's not like our decision or other people's decision to tell them that, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
And you're literally putting these ideas in their head that they're going to have a lesser chance to get married or a chance to meet with somebody just because they're under different circumstances. And yeah, like what you mentioned about the whole sex thing, it's like, so I remember when I worked at Jack Astor's, I worked with this girl, right?
Yeah.
And she was dating with this guy, and and we were so young, so I don't even know how the fuck this happened. But the mother of the boyfriend found pictures of the girl in like sexy clothes in his phone. I don't know the story. I don't know why the mother, how she found the pictures of, you know.
My
so
bestie.
Then
oh my bestie.
Right? So then she goes like, oh yeah, we're having problems because my, you know, boyfriend, and they're Punjabi. Like, mind you, this is like Punjabi guy, Punjabi mother, Punjabi girl, whatever. She
that's awkward.
Yeah, really awkward. So she actually has more of a modern mom. You know, she had her when she was really young. She has like a white husband now. Yeah. So her family's a bit more on the modern side. And, you know, she was very like, I don't care. Like, do you think I'm stupid? Like, you know, we've been dating for 3 years. You think he doesn't have sexy pictures of me?
Of course he does.
Right? So, of course he does. But the fact that, like, she found them and then she created this big thing, and it was like, you can't be with this girl because she's a disgrace. Look how she dresses, blah, 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 blah. And look, you know, whatever. It was this huge thing. And, you know, now that I think about it, and I'm like, yeah, like, you know, obviously, okay, like, obviously girls dress up for their mans and stuff like that. But you know, before marriage, it's like after marriage, it's okay. Yeah. You know, if she found those pictures after marriage, I'm sure it'd be like, oh, here's your private pictures, blah, blah, blah. But before marriage, it's like a big you can't marry her. She's probably a whore.
She's a skank.
This, you know?
It's not okay. Like, I don't think any of the judgment's okay because, you know, and this is such an unspoken truth too. I know this is not part of our topic, Roman, but I have to talk about the unspoken because it reminds me of the unspoken.
What?
Like, the sexual attraction between a man and woman is never talked about.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but sexuality is such an important thing, part of a relationship that makes a relationship.
Yeah.
And especially in a love relationship, you know what I mean? Like consenting to one another and being able to speak and communicate about the things you like in that relationship on like after marriage, like
before
marriage, knowing how many partners your person has had. These are things we don't talk about enough of. And it's kind of like, but we need to bring more insight to it. I understand now. Okay, so I understand as Punjabi, Hindus, brown people across the board, I get it. Okay, we have a reputation to uphold, right? We're known to be like traditional, you know, we cover ourselves, whatever, we're respectful. I think it's just out of respect. But if you're having relationships between a man and woman that you're going to marry anyways or already married to, isn't it still respectful to still be in the loop of what you're doing?
Yeah, 100%.
Because what if you are a girlfriend? Okay, let's think about us. We're all very open about our lives, okay?
Yeah.
But what if you have friends that don't talk about it?
Yeah.
So you go into this relationship, you get married tomorrow, okay? Because your parents told you, don't do this, because if you no one's going to marry me. Don't do this, don't get drink. Don't drink, don't touch anybody, don't be touched. So you're like, okay, so now you're this good little girl.
Yeah.
You're getting married to this guy tomorrow. You love him. He loves you.
Yeah.
But you guys have never experienced, because you're like, mom and dad are in my head's kind of like Jane the Virgin with the flower in the ground.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, she gets married. She gets into this relationship. Her relationship doesn't end up succeeding because he doesn't have the patience or communication to talk to her and help her through that sexual attraction to 100%. Teach her. So how the hell is she supposed to know what the fuck to do?
She doesn't.
And then what happens, Raman?
And then it's awkward because you've been raised to like your whole life thinking about like you can't really talk about this.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is psychologically these things start to get embedded in our brain. So that girl that I follow on Instagram, the Too Good whatever on TikTok, sorry, her thing is called Too Good something. I love this girl. I think her name is like Himal Patel.
I love her too.
And she talks about how our whole lives as Indian girls, our parents told us you can't talk to boys, you can't talk to boys, literally creating fear of like talking to boys in front of them, you know, felt like
it's embedded into your head.
And then she's like, and then, you know, you grow up and
you're just in the workplace.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, now find a guy. But what they don't understand is you have spent years and years embedding this into my brain, saying that, you know, you can't talk to guys, or if you talk to a guy, like blah 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 and this, and then now suddenly you want me to go find a husband. Like, it's not that easy. You've spent years like kind of making me believe something else, and I can't just turn it off like a switch and be like, okay, well now let me just go find a man.
Exactly.
And I don't think brown parents understand that, and I don't think they understand that when they give us these 101 reasons of why, you know, we can't get married, right? Because they're not understanding that, like, you know, part of these things are sticking in our brain.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, you know, and this is a big thing in our culture too, like the whole you know, education thing, the whole looks thing. I think looks are, it's such a
that's what I wanted to talk about next. Yeah.
It's just it's so
if you're overweight, you can't, you
or
won't
like
find
if
a
you're
guy.
a darker skin tone,
you won't find a
or if
guy.
you're too short, or
you
if
won't
you're
find
too
a guy.
tall,
You won't find a guy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, fucking anything.
Or if you dress nerdy, or you don't care to spend money on like
you don't dress girly
clothing,
enough.
Yeah, nobody's gonna marry you.
If you dress like a tomboy.
Yeah.
There's just so much, and I feel like, unfortunately, like it is very unfortunate that looks are such a big thing in our South Asian community, and it's, you know, parents just consider it such a big thing because they want, you know, I knew somebody who was like, you know, really, you know, beautiful person and stuff like that, and their parents wanted them to marry someone just as good looking, like to be to make it look like, oh, they look good together. Aww. But not like not to be like, okay, are they a good person or not, but just to make sure they look good together. And you know, that wasn't really fair.
No, it's not. It's not fair at all.
It wasn't fair at all, and you know, it broke up their relationship.
See?
Yeah, like parents broke up the relationship.
Yeah, they don't get it. They don't know what they're doing.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Over looks? Like,
that fades.
Yeah.
By the time you're 50, 60, you don't look the same.
Exactly. Like, calm the fuck down. And you know what? At the end of the day, like, it's all about, like, how the person is and how they're going to treat your son or daughter, not necessarily, like, how they look. And really, like, brown parents need to stop poking me. This girl, guys. This girl. I honestly think brown parents need to stop looking at the fact, because the whole, okay, so I'm obviously a little bit of a darker tone than a lot of people, right? And
I don't think you're dark. I think you're olive tone.
Okay, whatever. In the Indian community, I would be considered like on the darker side.
Nah,
So
I've seen darker.
I'm on the darker side. Okay, I don't want to say darker. I'm tanner than some people.
You're browner, you idiot.
Browner. Tanner. I'm not tan. Sorry, I'm just brown.
What? You're brown.
Sorry. Okay, I'm browner than some people, and I'll admit, I grew up a little self-conscious about that, you know? I felt like...
Really?
Yeah, I did. It was 100% a thing, especially when you're growing up around, you know, friends that are so fair, like Karen and Topeka and Anissa, right?
Yo, guys, they're good.
Yeah, so, you know, my friends were always very fair, and, you know, I was always on the browner side. And, you know, I did always hear growing up that, you know, like, you need to, you know, don't go out in the sun, like, you know, you'll get a tan. And I still fucking hear some aunties and shit like that say that to people. And, you know, it was like, don't go out, you'll get tanned and blah blah blah, you won't find a guy, da 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 da. So it was always a thing. And I do feel like up until a certain age, it was embedded in my head that if I'm darker, maybe I'll have a harder time finding somebody. And it was just so disappointing, that our community makes us feel that way.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
And now I fucking love the sun. I don't give a shit. I know you do. So even now, you know, my parents will be like, oh, you got so dark. I'm like, I don't care. Isn't that what summer's for? Isn't that what the sun is for? You want me to sit inside while it's beautiful outside? Yeah. Are you kidding me?
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm going to go enjoy the sun, and I'm going to sit in it, and I'm going to get burned.
Fucking have a drink while I'm at it.
Yeah. So now I'm very like, I don't care if I get as dark, because now I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, you get dark, you get light, whatever. It's just, it is what it is. But unfortunately, for a long time, I did think that maybe girls with a darker skin tone would have a harder time. And unfortunately, we see this on social media a lot, like stigma that there is around people who are darker. You know?
I agree with you on that. Like, Fair and Lovely has been promoted throughout
everything. I tried Fair and Lovely, bro. When I was younger, I tried that shit. It didn't work. I think it just made my skin dry, if anything.
Okay, so...
And the whole, like, vatna thing in our culture, the whole haldi thing comes because it stems from, you know, the morning of, it's supposed to make your skin lighter and glow and stuff like that.
I know, it's true. You're absolutely right.
And we still follow those traditions until today.
We do. Yeah. And okay, so this is another one. Being too outspoken is also another thing, or too opinionated, or being a strong woman. Yeah. I've heard people say that, oh, it's going to make a man feel less of a man if you're that opinionated or strong, you know. Yeah. Strong pointed, you won't find a guy. Yeah. And
like, stay hush hush.
Yeah. And I don't think that's acceptable either, because then that means when there's wrong being done, communication is like cut off. So you've now taught this person not to communicate with their partner. B, when you're upset or hurting or emotionally messed up or depressed or committing suicide, that means you're not speaking to anybody about it. Mm-hmm. You're not expressing how you feel. Yeah. That's not okay. When this is supposed to be your life partner or companion throughout life, we're saying let's do the opposite. Don't open up to them. Don't talk to them. Shut down completely and just make sure everything seems fine.
Yeah, 100%.
It's false pretenses. It's not okay.
It's like the false, what's the word? Image that people have that what like an Indian girl should be like.
Yeah, and nobody knows what that is. That's just like Disney doing what they think a princess should be like.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my God. Speaking of which.
What?
Okay. Where's my phone? I found the funniest shit on one of the brown girl pages. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Because you're going to die. Because I couldn't, like, I was like, this is so accurate. It's not even funny. Okay, yeah, I found it. Okay, ready for this?
Ready.
Okay, so it's basically a giraffe who's a psychologist, okay? And there's a picture per princess, and he's talking to each princess, okay?
Okay.
So the first one goes to Jasmine, the princess from Aladdin. The guy lied to you the entire time, and you're still going to marry him.
Yeah, he did. He did lie to her the whole time.
Okay, Cinderella.
Yeah.
Oh, you danced for a couple of hours in a party and now you think he is the love of your life. Tell me more about it. This is Sleeping Beauty. Yeah. Let's talk about consent while you are unconscious. Okay, this is Mulan. Wow, so you saved China for your father's approval.
Jokes. That was a really good movie, though.
It was a good movie, but it's true.
Yeah.
Belle.
At least it's for her father's approval, not some other man.
It doesn't matter how many books he gave you. He's still your captor.
Oh, true.
What's Sleeping Beauty? No, not Sleeping Beauty. Who is this? Rapunzel?
Yeah.
18 years locked up in a tower. You must have no problems with quarantine. Snow White. You went to live with your 7 people you didn't know, and you got poisoned by food a stranger offered you. I'm simply impressed by your capacity of trusting people.
Jokes.
And the last one is Elsa. Did you really let it go? I had to share that because I was like dying, because it's kind of like the same thing. It's contradiction, right?
Yeah.
It's saying we've been taught this our entire life to do something. So look at our Disney, look at Bollywood, look at the things we were brought up with.
They're not really like the most role model stories.
No, basically. They're not.
You're just basically teaching, and you're right, those are not role model stories. No. And I think it's because children are young and ignorant and they don't understand, but it's when you become an adult that you're like, what the fuck is this about?
Yeah, like, you know? We can read between the lines.
Yeah, but it's like, you know how they say all these Disney movies and stuff have subliminal messages? So, you know, what are you really teaching our kids?
Yeah, like, what are you really trying to do out there, Disney, Walt Disney?
Yeah, like, you know, I get that they're trying to make, like, women look strong, but, you know, at the same time, do better.
Well, lately, women have been looking strong, like Elsa and Anna and stuff. And like that latest princess, I forget her name. Mulan. Yeah. But there was another one that came out. The dragon, Raya the Dragon or something. Yeah. But that's, my thing is this. That's recently. Yeah, that's We're putting women in the power line.
And these old stories are still like the more
damsel in distress.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how our parents make us seem too, when they put us in those situations and say, well, who's going to marry you? But also, what if I didn't want to get married?
Yeah.
So I have an aunt who is very successful, and she does very well for herself, and, you know, rocks the Louis, rocks Chanel, dresses great, has all self-love, lives in an amazing, like, $1 million condo in Toronto.
Yeah.
And, like, isn't married.
Yeah.
And most people in society would look down on that and be like, well, why aren't you married yet?
Yeah.
But
my question is, what does your daddy feel about this? Your nanny.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Are you asking me or her?
Sorry.
I was like, what?
I meant, like, what does your nanny feel about this?
My nanny loves her because guess what? So the funny thing is, on the outside, she seems like this whitewashed girl who just did whatever she wanted.
Yeah.
She's the most desi goody I know in life.
Joke.
Okay? Like,
that's all nanny ever wanted.
Yeah, and nanny's like, she comes to my nanny's house and makes prashad.
Aww.
So she's like mad desi. It's actually jokes.
Yeah.
And like, you know, she puts up the divas by herself, and she enjoyed Diwali fully yesterday by herself. You know, came and dropped mithai to everyone's houses.
Nice.
So that's my thing. Like, you know, we say you're going to be a certain way. She has tattoos. She's empowered. She's worked her ass off for herself, not for someone else. Yeah. Not for the idea of getting married to someone.
Yeah.
But yet she's still religious, still a good girl at heart.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting and ironic how, like...
And I think that's what people need to realize, like, especially parents who, you know, say these kind of things to their daughters, and first of all, start saying it to your sons as well, because if your son is, you know, a sloppy guy, he doesn't know how to cook, he doesn't know how to clean, maybe it's time to also start saying, like, okay, well, who's gonna marry you? Because women, I'm sorry, of this day and age, want a guy who's responsible and who can take care of himself. And, like, you know, women are looking to be wives, not mothers. So, you know what, like, men, you guys kind of need to step it up too, because, you know,
that's like that
who's
show,
gonna marry you?
Netflix show with Mindy Kaling show. What's it called? Never Have I Ever.
Yes.
And in the season 2, when the mom goes to Richa, she goes to her. She's like, oh, well, you know, he's basically looking for his mother.
Yeah, and she's like, okay.
That's not what I want to marry. Yeah. So, like, that's exactly what it is. Why are we raised to be these individuals that are like, our ultimate goal in life is to first of all fucking get accepted to be married to some idiot, and then the second thing is to be married to this person and not even have the things that we want on our list checked off.
100%. So it's like, you should be, we should be checking if guys make it to our checklist.
Yep.
And you know what, I think like if your parents are kind of saying you're not going to get married because of this, it is just old traditions, and those are not going to be any of the reasons. Maybe if you're like,
actually pull up any Bollywood star and they're married.
There you
go. They
go.
drink, they smoke, they have tattoos,
and let's be real, everybody around us does, right? So, and so
it's
many
reality.
People we see happily married, so it's not true. So continue being you, do what you do, as long as you don't become a real fuckhead, you're okay.
Please don't be a real fuckhead, guys. But guys, thanks for tuning in and listening to our little rant about why women should get married and do whatever the hell they want and still be accepted to get married, and men should start doing it more so to be applicable to be married.
And let's start snapping back at these aunties that ever tell us like why we won't get married.
No, Billo auntie.
No.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for listening to us, guys. If you have any questions, concerns, or tips, or stories you'd like to share, please email us at ramanandalysha@gmail.com. If you're not already following us, please do at Level Up with Raman and Alysha. I sound like a fucking commercial.
Yes, you do. Sponsored by Fortinos. Bye,
not
everyone.
Really sponsored by Fortinos, bro.
I know, but I love Fortinos, so thanks.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.